Good morning. Today is Wednesday, June 25th. This is Wake Up with KERA News, and I'm Andrew Garcia. We're likely to see a bit of stormy weather today, but nothing severe, thankfully. But be on the lookout for the possibility for some brief heavy rainfall, some lightning strikes, and gusty winds. Despite the possibility for some stormy weather, things will still be pretty hot. We'll have highs in the lower 90s, though it could feel a lot more like the upper 90s. The Collin County Sheriff's trip to Israel for counterterrorism training was canceled when Israel and Iran traded deadly strikes. It's currently on hold, but questions about the controversial training offered to law enforcement across the nation remain. We'll hear why just after today's news. A Collin County grand jury indicted Karmelo Anthony for first-degree murder. Anthony is accused of fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a Frisco high school track meet in April. Anthony was also 17 at the time of the stabbing. The case has received national attention online with racial undertones. Anthony is black and Metcalf was white. Collin County District Attorney Greg Willis says he understands the crime has struck a nerve, but the case will focus on the facts. He says it's up to the court to schedule a trial if needed. Fort Worth and Arlington officials will look into the economic impact of a proposed high-speed rail. Officials anticipate rail benefits for a route from Tarrant County to Dallas. A Dallas economic study puts the annual impact for a proposed route to Houston at $5 billion. Arlington Mayor Jim Ross has said a high-speed rail could be a game-changer for the region. Collin County Sheriff Jim Skinner had planned to go to Israel for counterterrorism training, but deadly strikes between Israel and Iran put the trip on halt. KERA's Caroline Love reports that questions remain about the controversial training, which is similar to what Israel has offered to other law enforcement agencies across the nation.
The Collin County Sheriff's Office doesn't know if the trip will be rescheduled after it was canceled, or at this point if it will even happen. Many U.S. law enforcement agencies have trained in Israel since the 9/11 terrorist attacks. The practice has long been a source of controversy. Amnesty International and advocacy groups have accused Israeli police of human rights violations, including unlawful surveillance and excessive force against peaceful protesters. Mustafa Carroll from the Dallas-Fort Worth chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations says the sheriff shouldn't have accepted the invitation to train in Israel in the first place.
Why would you go and train with a country or train with a military that has known human rights abuses? We have enough issues with that right here without that training.
Jewish Voice for Peace released a report in 2018 called The Deadly Exchange that claims American and Israeli law enforcement swap militarized tactics and racial profiling techniques at these trainings. The Anti-Defamation League, a civil rights organization created to combat anti-Semitism, says those accusations are false. The group has sponsored several law enforcement trips to Israel. KERA learned through an open records request that the ADL coordinated the Collin County Sheriff's visit. The ADL declined to comment for this story. The Collin County Sheriff's Office was one of 3 law enforcement agencies involved in the arrests of 20 protesters at a student-led encampment for Palestinians at the University of Texas at Dallas. Carroll says the sheriff treated protesters unfairly.
I think that they are viewing these protesters as if they are combatants.
The Collin County Sheriff's Office says the planned training in Israel wasn't related to any local developments or issues. Jonathan Thompson from the National Sheriff's Offices Association says critics of the training offered in Israel are misguided. Thompson says American law enforcement agencies adapt what they learn to fit the U.S. Constitution. Thompson participated in a training program in Israel shortly after the October 7th attacks. He says Israel has experience combating and responding to terrorism.
It's a little bit like the old adage, why do you rob banks? Because that's where the money is. Why do you train with Israel or Germany? That's where the experience is.
Skinner told county commissioners training with the Israeli National Police would benefit public safety.
They're probably the best in the world at it. And we're going to benefit from that and take those lessons home and apply that here to help make our citizens more safe.
Thompson says law enforcement agencies have a duty to be transparent with the people they serve. Otherwise, misconceptions like the public's perception of Israel's counterterrorism training can occur.
If you're not willing to talk about your tactics and techniques, then you're going to find yourselves with a very large population that is uninformed, scared, and naive in their own understanding of what's going on.
Skinner had provided an exact agenda for the trip to commissioners that was not made public. KERA has requested a copy through an open records request. One of Skinner's major campaign contributors, who serves as the unpaid assistant chief over the department's reserve duty program, volunteered to foot the $70,000 to $80,000 bill. That was after the county had declined to fund the visit. At a recent Commissioners Court meeting, Commissioner Susan Fletcher questioned if it was safe to go to Israel.
There's a reason we have policies, and there's a reason that we say no to these international trips, especially to a war zone.
Israel attacked military targets in Iran days before Skinner and 5 deputies were scheduled to leave, and tension between the countries continue.
That was KERA's Caroline Love reporting. The NBA draft is set to begin tonight at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Luckily for you Dallas fans, you won't have to wait too long as the Mavs have the first pick. And it's no secret that they're expected to pick Duke University power forward Cooper Flagg. Flagg averaged about 19.6 points in his freshman season and won ACC's Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year. We'll see what's in store. The draft kicks off tonight at 7 Central. Visit the Badge of Pride From Silence to Celebration exhibition at the Irving Archives and Museum. The exhibition honors the queer community's history, resilience, and joy, from the 1900s to present day, with over 10,000 historical artifacts and more, on view through September. For more information and some other fun things to do, visit our Go See DFW calendar at kera.org/calendar. Thank you so much for once again listening to Wake Up with KERA News. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. This show is produced and edited by Shardae White and Bekah Morr. For more news in your inbox, visit kera.org/wakeup. That is where you can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter, get some good morning vibes from our colleague Catherine Hobbs. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at KERATX. You've officially made it over the hump. We'll see you tomorrow.